from the high desert.
Want to take a ride?
First-time caller line, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a first-time caller.
Yes, sir. Turn your first-time callers. Turn your radio
Washington.
off. Yes, sir. Turn your radio off.
It's off.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Hello.
We don't screen calls. You're on the air.
Okay, Art, this is Jim in Spokane.
Hi, Jim.
And I'm a first-time caller. I really don't want to talk about the issues that have been discussed tonight. I would like to just make a comment or two about the so-called debate that you had. And
well, that is the issue we're talking about.
well, you know, the whether the militia has a proper stand, or I really am unopinionated about that. The one thing I think we could have done for this fellow Jay in LeGrand tonight was to, if nothing else, had you talk with him or had a reasonable person debate him.
Jay didn't say he was in LeGrand.
He said he belonged to that group.
Well, he was calling from an unidentified point in Oregon.
Exactly. To me, though, he sounded like a very reasonable man, and certainly didn't...
reasonable? What's
well,
reasonable?
Well, certainly
what's reasonable? Excuse
to,
me. All right, fine. The name calling aside.
The name calling is the primary thing.
No, it isn't.
Nothing was.
No,
nothing
it isn't.
Was,
No, it isn't the primary thing. The primary thing is a plan to attack the military.
Well, if you're going to have a debate, name calling certainly doesn't get you to first base.
Look, why don't you forget the name calling and worry about what's really important? What's really important is there's a group out there that says if the free men are moved on, they're going to begin attacking military targets.
Exactly. But what you tried to arrange tonight was someone to debate this fella. And we certainly didn't have that.
You're worried about peanuts.
I'm not worried about peanuts.
And the elephant's about to step on you, and you're worried about peanuts.
If we took an I realize how disastrous this could be. But the thing of it is that if we want to have a debate and listen and find out more about their position and find out what makes them tick.
Look. I don't control these debates. I have a situation where I stand back and I let people go at each other on the air. I'm not changing it.
Well,
so if you're bitching about the fact that they were calling each other names or that Charlie called them names, you're wasting airtime.
Well, I think that you wasted airtime having that debate.
Well, goodbye. I don't care what you think. You know? I don't give a rat's behind what you think. I conduct my show the way I conduct it. And I give people airtime to flat go at it. All right? If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, or in your case, turn off the radio. I don't care. I conduct this program the way I conduct it so that things are heard here that aren't heard elsewhere. If you don't like that, go elsewhere. And I presume that's exactly what you'll do. Don't let the door hit you in the butt. First-time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bell. My great-great-grandfather had slaves in Texas.
All right. Do you hold on a sec? Let me redo this here. Do you want to apologize for that now?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I didn't do it.
You don't feel guilty?
I don't feel guilty. And blacks, if
you don't think you have genetic guilt?
I don't have genetic guilt. As a matter of fact, if you'll go back and look at Africa and the history, and you'll find look at the history of Egypt and northern Africa, you'll find out that blacks and Africans had blacks as slaves there.
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned Egypt. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Egypt because the traditional explanation of how the pyramids got built.
Yes.
Now, shouldn't somebody be apologized to there?
That's right.
Remember all those people that had to tote those big rocks? I saw it in movies.
Another thing tonight, President Clinton was very interesting. Clinton came on and he also mentioned that
they were even crushing people between the rocks. I mean, think of the apology those people ought to get.
That's right. There's so many apologies due for a lot of things, and I'm not condoning what my great-great-great-grandfather did, but on the other hand, I just want to say this again, please, is that Clinton came on tonight, he indicated within 30 to 50 years that the white people in the country will be outnumbered. And he's like shoving this down our throats and saying, this is something we're going to have to accept, and we're going to have good race relations, whether we like it or not. And I'm just going to say this, and I've said it before, and you've probably heard me when I've said it previously. Name on your left hand 5 things that a black person has invented, manufactured, brought to market.
Oh, well, you sound like a racist.
No, I'm just being no, sir. I'm not a racist.
I said you sound like a racist.
No, but as a matter of fact, no.
Actually, President Clinton is right about that. We are going to all have to ultimately get along.
No, we don't. That's the problem.
Do.
The Germans don't. The British, the French don't. You see, they have race problems. Well, they have big race problems in Germany. They're having big race problems also in Britain.
There's race problems all over the world.
That's right.
And ultimately, we're all going to have to get along. And when we finally get our consciousnesses raised enough,
right.
Maybe we will.
Well, sir, let me just say this one thing. You know, I like your show and I listen to it a lot. You know, and you're married to a Puerto Rican Filipina, and I've seen her. She's a nice-looking lady, and you know, you believe in everybody's going to go gray, and I don't.
Well, right now,
you in any way.
Right now,
I don't agree with you.
Oh, fine, that's fine. The president right now said that in the last decade, interracial marriage has increased by 20%.
So let's just lose the country.
Now that is going to have an inevitable result.
The inevitable result, it will pull the whites down, because you see, look around you, everything, the ham radio that you love so well, and your computer and your carpet and your desk, those were invented by white people, mainly white men.
Oh, you're just an ignorant person. I'm sorry that you like my show, and I can't imagine why you do. That's very sad. You, sir, are an ignorant person.
I took a night vision camera and pointed it toward the skies of Las Vegas early in the evening, actually beginning about 8:30, in order to capture what you said was going to occur. And when you came on the program, you said that there would be 3 to 4 craft involved in the biggest. No. Let me finish. No, let me finish.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A maximum of 3 to 4 craft. Fine. In the biggest sighting in a century, and that hundreds would witness it, and it would be the biggest event of their lives, that kind of thing. And that's what you said on this program.
That's right.
And then in an update, you essentially repeated the same thing.
Right.
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 Okay, now let's shift to what happened.
How long did you have the camera out?
We had the camera until gee whiz, past midnight. But anyway, let's continue. I monitored. You know, I did an hour talking to people who were actually there who had cell phones.
Right.
So that I could sort of get the flavor, you know, of what was going on.
Yeah.
And let's see, at 10:20. Approximately, I understand you dropped a couple of hankies, actually 10:15 about, I dropped a couple of hankies, and then you told everybody it was all over and left.
And I said my participation was over and I left.
Your participation was over and you left, yeah, about 10:20, right?
I don't remember the exact time.
Yeah, it was about 10:20.
Was it 10:20?
Yeah, because the people on the phone told me.
Yeah.
About 10:20. And actually, I was, in a way, thankful, because I had a guest coming on, and I thought, oh man, it's going to really interrupt, another guest somewhere. So anyway, so I had a lot of calls, and everybody said that nothing happened.
They must be embarrassed today, huh, Art?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
No, I don't think so. Because you said that
there'd be hundreds.
Well, you did say that, hundreds.
Yeah, well, I was wrong. It was thousands.
Yeah, but, you said it was all over at 10:15 or 20, somewhere in there.
I said I had to leave because the documentary people needed to interview me, so I said my participation here is all over.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody left.
You sent me a press release today. or your people did.
Yeah.
You know, your people originally contacted me to get on there, and that's fine. And then today I got this press release, and what the press release says in part, quoting you, my original intention was to demonstrate a scenario how an enemy possessing the same skill and abilities as myself might create a mass happening on an even larger scale and over a much greater territorial area, said Kreskin. Now, so in other words, your original intention was deception.
My original intention was using psychological persuasion to show how.
When you came on my show, it was deception.
Well, you could say deception.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, so that was deception.
For a reason that was very...
But you know, there's a difference. I have a lot of people on my show. I'm usually a pretty easygoing guy, Kreskin. I have a lot of people on my program that are visionaries and psychics and...
well, I'm not a psychic.
I know. You say you're a mentalist, right? I said you were a magician, then you said mentalist.
Well, I am not a psychic.
But
I'm not a psychic.
You do say you're a mentalist, right?
I'm a mentalist, but I'm not a psychic.
In fact, you corrected me. Anyway, anyway, I have a lot of people on the program, you must understand, as guests who do claim to be psychic or visionary in one way or another, and they're honest people, and sometimes they predict things and they're wrong. But they didn't plan from the beginning to deceive, you know? And so what I think you did is really lame. I'm telling you, face to face, lame. Not only that, but I now understand that you have you've reneged on your deal to give $50,000. You are not giving $50,000 to charity, right?
The reason is because of the success of the prediction.
Oh, baloney.
And may I finish?
Yeah. Finish.
Well, thanks to NBC. And obviously people know about the traffic jams on Las Vegas Boulevard last night. As it turns out, at 11:03,
somebody saw something.
Well, not somebody saw something. Some 60-some people saw something.
Actually, again,
if I can't finish now.
Yeah, you can finish.
Well, I'd like to finish.
60 people.
Because no, it was thousands of people
on TV. Thousands. You mean on TV?
But I'd like to finish.
Go ahead.
What happened was that the prediction also stated that the phenomena would take place between the 10:15 and midnight. That was the time that I mentioned many times. And I told the audience in the theater, now you understand, when we went outside, there were about 1,000 other people there who were partying and drunk and so forth. I mean, they didn't really, they weren't even with it.
Well,
the audience...
Actually, there were thousands. There were other locations where people gathered.
But the people outside did not know what I had told the audience in the theater, and that was that this whole plan was, first of all, to show something that had worried me greatly since 9/11, how ruthlessly an enemy could utilize and manipulate the imagination of people's minds and use it in a very, very deleterious manner.
Yeah, but that's what you did.
But I'd like to finish.
That's what you did.
I'd like to finish what happened. As I've said since Monday, from 10:15 to midnight was the time spectrum of this whole phenomena. At 11:03, as the crews were packing, now the suggestion I planted in the minds of the 41 people was basically something of a green light type effect, although some people were crying because they felt noise and vibrations and so forth, but that's a very subjective phenomena.
41 people.
41 because of the nine college students that ran into the distance and came back to the casino.
That's not hundreds.
I'm talking about thousands.
No, you're talking about.
I haven't finished.
Yes. Well, okay. So that we might.
I may have finished what happened.
There was an object seen and filmed.
No, there wasn't an object seen. What happened at 11:03, as the crews were packing, is that one of the people glanced up and saw what I had suggested as a green light form, but of course I was inside being interviewed further, starting in the same pattern as the others had hallucinated. At 11:04, a second one appeared, and thank God, a gentleman from NBC here in Las Vegas, his camera was still on.
Yeah, I know.
So he called, Steve Krupe called and interrupted the news broadcast, and literally thousands of people saw
What do you know?
this phenomena take place. As a matter of fact, there are two people who left letters here.
Well, you know what, Kreskin? It doesn't matter because
Well, it does matter. It does matter
you
because in the end-
intended to deceive from the
You may
beginning.
say that, but the truth
I
of the
am
matter,
saying that.
The truth of the matter is that there were thousands for the first. Where have in history, we've all seen films that can be altered, but people saw this for real because some of the crew called home to tell their families and said, we're watching it. And if anyone saw the playbacks this morning on the news, and at noon, it was seen originally live by, now in the end, sure, it may, who knows what it could be. It could be someone throwing plates at someone.
Could be anything. There were people firing flares.
Well,
the crap going on.
these were-
Look, my point is that in your own words, in your own press release today, it was intentional deception.
No, it was not intentional deception.
Oh, you know,
It was
when
a
you
way of
came on my
showing-
program and
it was
said
a
what
way
you
of
said.
showing how ruthlessly people are
that's
conditioned. If people are conditioned,
It was
this
ruthless.
could have been done on a larger scale, Art, and that is the fear I needed.
Let me tell you something. Now, let me tell you
I
something.
need- I need-
I had a lady from Channel 41 television who was there and grabbed a quick interview with you. And she asked you, because we played it on the air, she held the phone up to the recorder, and she said, you know, some poor lady came down here and from Seattle. Let me finish and
remember very vividly.
and spent $600 coming down here. And you said, well, I didn't tell her to come down here.
I did not tell her to come down. And
Indeed.
furthermore, she stayed, she would have seen the phenomena that she was looking for.
But the deception.
If she stayed, she would have seen the phenomena because it was within the framework of 9:45 to midnight, and it did happen within 9:45 to midnight. Had she stayed, as some of the other people did, and who have sent letters to me and called me, she would have seen right there what some 16 newsmen and crew people saw, and thousands
you know
saw
what?
on TV.
By your own words.
So actually, I did not tell her to fly in. I did not tell her to fly in.
I know you didn't, but
And
it seems to me.
I would never have suggested anyone do something like that.
Yeah,
I would
well,
never.
even if you don't give the $50,000, you ought to give that lady her money back.
I did
Anyway,
not tell her. Well, then she should have, perhaps if she flew first class, but the point of the matter is, there was a sighting involving thousands of people, and it was live. And as MSNBC and Fox News, in long discussions with me, verified it did take place in the hour of 9:45 to 12 midnight.
Yes, it
And
did.
consequently, I was successful in that part of the prediction came about. Well,
You had planned. Okay, listen.
By the way, I happened to have been the night before performing 50. I don't even want to tell you how close to the Twin Towers. 5 days later, I walked there while Regis was coming back towards me, and it's a setting I can never forget.
Yeah, and what you did,
Well,
the
I'm
Twin
sorry.
Towers have no relationship whatsoever, except they're both
Yes, it
acts,
does.
in my opinion, of terrorism. Take care, Kreskin. I'll tell you something else. I have in all the years that I've done this kind of programming, I have never banned but let's see, 1, 2, 3, or 4 people from my show. So you can still count it on one hand, but add one. Kreskin, you're banned from my show. He hung up. He's banned forevermore from my show while I do this program. He will never again appear. I know exactly how it came down, and I read his press release today, and in his own press release he admits that he intended to deceive, as compared to what he said twice on my program. To the entire listening audience, it was, I thought, very clear. Was it not very clear to you? He claims 41 people here saw it. This, again, is in his own press release, dated today, June 7th, from his office. And it has quotes around his words. Quote, my original intention was to demonstrate a scenario how an enemy possessing the same skill and abilities as myself might create a mass happening on an even larger scale and over a much larger territorial area, end quote. In other words, he knew damn well when he came on my program and said there would be as many as 3 or 4 craft. It would be the sighting of the century, and there would be hundreds of people involved in seeing it. And he went out there and about 10, 15, or 20 in that area and dropped 2 handkerchiefs. Now, he had done some work with an audience and maintained about 300 of that audience inside during a show. And he'd been doing a little mental work with them. And I guess the dropping of the handkerchief was some sort of key for them to see something. So his original intent, whatever in the hell happened later in the night after everybody left and was packing up, is completely irrelevant. Totally, completely irrelevant. And I draw a line between those guests that I have on the program who claim to be visionaries or mentalists or psychics or whatever word they use, and claim to have had a vision or information come to that that's come to them that says something or another will happen. Well, if it doesn't happen, at least they came to me honestly. And I don't feel that was the case with the somewhat, in my opinion, very much less than amazing Kreskin. That was not the case. He did not come to me honestly. And yes, I'm pissed. You bet I'm pissed. And he is banned. Banned from this show forever. I'm Art Bell. This is Coast.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, I'd like to talk to Art Bell.
All right. Well, the number 1 requirement is to turn your radio off.
Oh, sure, I have that off right now.
Well, that's good. Number 2, tell us where you are.
I'm from La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Okay. Well, you've got me, so go ahead.
I've got you. I don't have Art Bell.
Yes, you do.
Oh, you're Art Bell?
Yes, I am.
Well, hi, Art Bell.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
I was wondering about your books.
Yes?
Yeah, I was wondering about, I've listened to you on and off, maybe, 2 or 3 years.
Yes?
And I don't know anything about you, but I don't know what could you possibly, what could I possibly want to buy your first book for?
Well, you just answered your own question. You don't know anything about me, you said.
Yeah, I know, and that's
okay,
what I'm
well,
trying to find out.
my first
that's
book.
What I'm trying to find out. I've never heard you talk about yourself at all.
My first book is all about me.
And what is it about, a talk show host?
Yeah, it's called The Art of Talk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Tom Leykis?
Leykis.
Tom Leykis.
Did you say Tom?
Yeah, Tom
His first name is Tom Leykis.
Yeah, I talked to him. I called him up. He's on Sundays here in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
He's on Sundays? Oh, is he a preacher?
No. He talks about a lot of different things.
He does?
Yeah, and he told me to give you a message, and
what's the message?
The message was that he told me to tell you that the moon is made of green cheese. And he was wondering I was wondering if you would be able to debate him. He said he would debate you anytime.
I did debate him once in Sacramento.
Oh, really?
And I ate his lunch.
You're full of jokes, aren't you?
It was easy.
Hey, there's one thing I don't like about you at all. My mom, you know that arthritis
There's a few things I actually don't like about myself.
That commercial that you talk about that rebuilds cartilage?
Cartilage, yes.
Well, if that was the truth, I'm telling you, my mom suffered for 20 years. I have 2 sisters that are also suffering from it. And if you can find a pill that will rebuild cartilage, that would be nationwide.
It is. It was reported in the New York Times.
Well, I'm telling you one thing. I'm going to call the Better Business Bureau and the FDA and find out. And I'm telling you one thing. You better not advertise it because I'm going to find out about it. Goodbye.
That's it, huh? Well, tell Tom I said his comment is cheesy. And as for you, I advise you to look into that arthritis assist formula, chondroitin, as one of the ingredients. And it's the New York Times that reported the breakthrough that allows the regrowth or the assistance of regrowth of cartilage. So instead of contacting the agencies you talked about, you ought to really look into it if you really are sincere about helping your family, which I sincerely doubt. Yeah, like it's Sundays, huh? Yeah, he's a preacher. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hi.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. How are you?
I am fine.
Mr. Bell, if I needed to get a hold of you for some important information off the air, how would I be able to do that?
Well,
We've sent many letters to you, and they haven't gotten there.
how do you know?
They were sent about a month ago.
Well, who's to say how do you know they didn't get here?
I just know they didn't.
You know they didn't.
I know it for a fact.
Well, let's not play games. What's it about?
If you go to a break or something,
look, this is a public program. So if you got something to say to me, say it here on the air.
well, Mr. Bell, I just know a few things about what some people have been trying to do, and I know damn well that there's been contacts made in Pahrump. There's been some contacts made at, for instance, there's a 24-hour gas station out there by you.
There's many of them now. Pahrump has grown.
The community hospital down there?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I happen to know some information about that.
About what?
Well, there's some problems going on down there, Mr. Bell.
What kind of problems? Go on, say it on the air.
I can't.
Why not?
Because if I even get caught making this call, I'm in deep trouble.
Why? What, somebody's sneaking around asking questions about me? Who the hell cares?
Well,
I have nothing to hide. So, this is it. Either you tell me what it is now, or I move on.
all right.
All right, what? All right, you're done?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Goodbye.
Now, Fox News sucks. That's what I think. This is just ridiculous. Ron Paul, a man I've interviewed many times, got more of a percentage by a lot than Rudy Giuliani. But Fox News won't let him in the debate. What the hell are they afraid of? Or what are, I hope if they've got sponsors, I hope they drop. It's just not right. What are they afraid of? Ron Paul is a fascinating man with fascinating ideas. He's got every right to be heard. He's earned the right to be heard. He's made more money than a lot of them. And he's got more percentage of interest from voters than a lot of them. So what can possibly be the reason to keep Ron Paul out? Come on, Fox. Fair and balanced? Oh, isn't that what you say? Fair and balanced? Is that really what you want people to think, that you're fair and balanced? Nothing fair, nothing balanced about keeping Ron Paul out. So, what I would say to all of you, whether you're a Ron Paul supporter or not, send him an email. Tell him what you think. Are they afraid that new ideas might be heard? Are they afraid the American people might wake up? Are they afraid that some of the other Republican candidates might suffer a deficit because Ron Paul says something the American people want to hear? Come on, Fox.